All right.
I'm Larry Wiggs.
All right, so we're chilling here at the Newport Center food court. I just had a Five Guys burger. Mike, what'd you have? You had a
Hey, we
cookie?
should get a call sign like mustard. How about this? Larry!
Wait. All right, all right. Now, we were just talking about Paul Revere Williams. Oh, his food is coming, so
92?
92 is ready. Once he gets his food, I'm going to have to explain to him this idea that I have about our capitalist society and about Paul Revere Williams' life. So he's got his food. He's on his way back. All right, so hear me out. This is what I'm thinking, right? Now, mind you, for the listeners, I already did sort of an extensive discussion about Paul Revere Williams' life and so forth and so on. So I'm not going to rehash those details. But here's what I will say. It's such a tragedy that Paul Revere Williams, number one, did all of those designs, especially in places like Beverly Hills or in places where blacks were not wanted, were not allowed to live due to restrictive covenants, restrictions and covenants, CCRs. That's a slap in the face right there. However, our man, Paul Revere Williams, was able to rise above the discrimination and the racism. But what's sad, what I think is sad, is that after his death, the stories about his life, well, they were turned into books, and those books are sold by companies that profit off of his legacy. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying he did a great thing by navigating the racial terrain, and he was a credit to his race. However, this capitalist society that we live in is so treacherous that a man's legacy isn't distributed, isn't shared with the people who need it the most, us. For instance, I'm 45 years old, and only as of late, within the last 5 years, had I learned about Paul Revere Williams. But if a student in elementary school, high school, a black kid in the inner cities of Los Angeles or any city know of the distance, know of the ground that this man covered during his lifetime, if that legacy of his life if that's shared with a young kid, that can inspire and change, spark the mind. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm, and so we live in a capitalist society, so much so that even his legacy, if you want to learn about him, you can't necessarily go to someone and just ask, hey, do you know about this man? Can you tell me about him? No. There are books you'd have to purchase. You'd have to spend your dollars to purchase those books. Sure, the internet is a democratization, is a democratizing technology that allows us all to access information. And in many cases, you don't even need to purchase those books. But yeah, information is held. Even in our society, information is held, and it isn't disseminated for those who really, really could use it and could need it. And then the last point that I want to make, the last statement is like, I watched the TikTok recently, and they talked about how, I don't know, maybe it was like during the 60s, 70s, or maybe the 50s. I guess it was a consortium. It was a think tank. Then the result of their work was, or maybe it was a CIA, FBI conspiracy, I don't know. But they said that this group, no, I think it was NASA. It was NASA that did this. NASA said the extent of human creativity, of humanity's creativity, of humanity's inquiries into a certain field is limited by NASA. NASA says we're not going to go in that direction and study. We're not going to fund any research. We're not going to allow anyone, to propose research in that direction, which I thought was cold-blooded. Like at any given time, everyone should have the freedom to study what they choose and go in a direction that they want. I mean, even as I'm describing that does sound like it's very anarchist and just like ridiculous. What are your thoughts on in any of this that I've said, Big Mike?
In terms of the NASA thing,
Yeah.
they're saying NASA won't approve of this research in this area. You can go to the Department of Defense. They have their own research budget. You can, the Department of Agriculture has a research budget. Private universities have research budget. Harvard has a research budget.
What I think they said on the video is that all of humanity wasn't. They were trying to clamp down on research. So they had dictates over other private institutions.
Cool. How are you gonna dictate what the Chinese study?
Now that's okay.
The Japanese,
all of the
the
Americans,
South Koreans,
all of the Americans,
the English,
all
the
of the
French,
Americans,
the Russians,
all of the Americans.
So you're still not clamping down on nothing.
True.
All you're saying is that America won't study it.
True. But if you're American and you grow up in that system, well then, whatever that path is, you're limited because no one will fund you.
Because you can get private funding. All you're saying, the government is just one source of funding. You can raise your own capital and research whatever you want.
All right. Well, I saw the video. I thought it was interesting, but I just brought it up. So, ixnay on the whatever. Let's get back to Paul Revere Williams and his legacy. Number 95 and being called at Five Guys. So, what about this? What about that? About
if
his
you rely
life
on white people to teach you your history,
right,
you're never going to learn anything.
Right.
Today's Sunday, right?
Yes.
Dumb niggas is spending hours listening to biblical stories they've heard thousands of times. For every dumb Old Testament, New Testament fictional story, you could be telling the story of an actual black person.
Oh, wow.
That lived in America.
Oh, wow. Well,
what's more inspiring than Underground Railroad?
Yeah.
Who's more of a hero than Nat Turner? He was boiled alive. Your Jesus was hung up on a cross. Okay, that's cool. Nat Turner was skinned, boiled alive, and eaten by his enemies.
Skin boiled alive?
They ate Nat Turner.
Oh my gosh.
For what he did. What about Harriet Tubman? Harriet Tubman is the fiercest woman in American history. She should be a feminist icon. The reason why she isn't is because she's a small, dark-skinned black woman. But like everything that white women pretend that they are, that's who she was.
Wow.
But we have to orient ourselves in this society and not take what they say as the law.
I think that...
You know what I was thinking about doing?
What's that?
Was writing my own Bible. 52-week lessons on black history of black Americans. So you can have your dumb Bible quotes and whatnot. You know, the preacher man stand up and start shaking and all of that, talking about what Moses did and all of that. He can get through his lies, and then afterwards you can teach from my Bible some actual stuff, some real history, something that you can actually use to get through the week.
All right, well, that's not a bad idea, and I think that there are people who have done that, even recently, as of late. On YouTube, I watched this guy called Ralph Smart. Now, he didn't say that he has a Bible, but he said he has a Bible of quotes. You can use it like a Bible or something like this. So, yeah, it's doable, and people, by all means. And then every religious sect, from the Mormons to, I don't know.
What I like about the Mormons is that
they all have their own Bibles. That's what I wanted to say.
The Mormons, like 95% of the black people that are Mormons are like tethers from other places because it's a dumb religion.
Oh.
You know, like the founder, Joseph Smith, was like a known liar. He's from upstate New York, right? So he was like, I got these golden plates. Now, if we could actually hold them, they'd be like 200 pounds each. There's no way to hold these things. Some lady, he wrote down, the guy came to him and told him, gave him a revelation. The wife of one of his early converts stole the book and was like, write it again. He couldn't, because there was a bunch of lies. Yeah, but it's like they're a bunch of rapists and murderers. And they didn't allow black people into their church until 1979. The reason is because the NCAA wouldn't let BYU play in the college football. Basically, they couldn't be in the NCAA.
Sure.
So then their leader came up with another revelation. Like, apparently to them, our skin color is a curse.
Right.
It's the curse of Ham. Okay, but we the first people. So
Wait
they
a minute.
descend from us.
Wait a minute. So the same guy the same liar who created the Bible for the Mormons, created.
It's called the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, the Book of Mormon.
I call it the Book of Morons.
Okay, and so that guy is the same guy who told his parishioners that to be black is to be a sin.
Oh yeah.
So basically,
it's in the book.
No, it is. I know. I watched. No. I can't say that I know that it's in there because I watched Bill Moyer. No, I watched Bill Moyer, Religiosity, and he talked about
Bill
that.
Maher.
I said Moyer?
Yeah.
Oh, Bill Maher, yeah. Yeah, so he was breaking all that kind of stuff down. Yeah, so they basically come up with their own lies and their own ideals, promote them, and now, but the problem is 85% of the people are followers. 10% are the bloodsuckers, and the 5% are the poor righteous teachers. So that means 85% you can fool 85% of the people. 10% are gonna be aware of your game, and they're going to try to emulate that same game and control and manipulate the masses, while 5% are gonna sit back and watch it and say tis, tis, tis,
You know
and
what
try
I was
to
thinking?
educate others.
I was thinking, if you look at American society, like this is a slave society.
Based upon Roman society, yeah.
Well,
Roman
they allow
was
us to buy guns, buy houses, buy cars. As long as you're willing to fit within the system, you're cool. But the minute you want to destroy the system or change the system,
Yes.
they'll kill you.
Well,
Now, how do we know that? Because Patrice Lumumba was chilling. He wasn't even in this
Yes.
on this continent.
Yes.
And because he wanted to live a different way,
Yes.
the CIA murdered him.
Yes.
So what do you think they're going to do to one of us? When Martin Luther King went to them trash men
Yes.
and said, this system is not corrupt because of the racism, it's corrupt because of the classism. That's when he had to die.
And so again, going back to NASA controlling the agenda, here you're talking about globally how the agenda is being set by American government. Now, have we heard of any stories of any Chinese being assassinated by CIA coups and?
Because they are nuclear power. Like there are certain things you can do, certain things to certain people. They killed Gaddafi because he wanted to unite Africa under $1.
Yeah.
He wanted to say, why do we need to go to these people for loans when we got the resource? We got the collateral.
Yeah.
And they killed him for it. And they just gave Hillary Clinton a Freedom Prize, one of them congressional honors, or medal honors. One of them prizes they give to people like Stevie Wonder or whatnot. What did she do except global white supremacy? But they reward that.
Now,
America has no enemies that America hasn't created.
Right.
First of all, the biggest barrier to invading America in any way is the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. So we could just be over here chilling. Can't nobody invade us. The supply lines are crazy. Where you gonna land? You gonna land in Canada? They'll fuck you up too. You gonna land in Mexico? We're not gonna allow you to land in Mexico. So you couldn't even get to our borders to do anything. Maybe some shit like way off in Hawaii or the Marshall Islands. But America, the 48 contiguous, never. So
Yeah.
everything we do is proactive, and the reason why we're proactive
Yeah.
is because we want to make the world safe for American capital. Now, do you benefit
Right,
from
right,
that?
right.
No.
No.
Do I benefit? No.
No, because it's still a white supremacist society or
And
a
they've been-
capitalist system.
And they've been doing it for 200 years. The warships that opened up the ports in Japan in the 19th century was about the flow of trade. They went into Tokyo, they went into Japan, the Edo Empire, and said, yeah, we know you want to be an isolationist unto yourself. We demand you open up so we can do business with you.
Wow.
That's like 80, 90 years before Pearl Harbor. Did they ever teach you in school why the Japanese bombed Pearl Harbor? I was in my 40s when I learned why.
I don't
didn't
know.
take in many U.S. history courses.
Well-
They never go into it.
Well, that's one example, but I know that I learned about bananas in America and the whole conspiracy to get Americans to only eat 2 types of bananas. Okay, it's based in American white supremacist imperialism, and if those effects are on Guatemala, Costa Rica, Panama, and the whole United Fruit that
Yeah,
has
you
now
should look up this guy named Smedley Butler.
That has
he
now
talked
become-
about he's the world's most decorated soldier in the United States.
But wait. But what I'm saying is, I only recently learned about the banana conspiracy. You know, we didn't learn about that. And I even brought that to my my government teacher in high school, and I said, "Hey, how come you didn't teach us about this?" And he was like, "There's too much history to cover. I'm sorry we didn't cover it." I'm
No,
like,
what it
"Man."
is we get a sanitized version
Certainly.
that A, makes Americans look good, and B, is about showing that it was inevitable. It's an inevitable march of progress. We don't talk about the Trail of Tears and,
Oh no, not
and
at all.
how Indians were moved into Oklahoma with their black slaves, by the way. We don't talk about, like, there's so many levels of things we don't talk about.
Yes. Yes.
Like, it's funny how racist white people are towards black Americans for the benefits they think that we receive when the Bureau of Indian Affairs gives all those things to Indians. The free health care, the free college, the free this, the free that, the employment, a preferential treatment in employment, and all these things that we've never received.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. So I'm about to walk through Barnes and Nobles and check out the books, see what it is, see if they have any Spanish text. I want to look at the Lonely Planet, see if they have a Lonely Planet Los Angeles guide, see what recommendations are
They
in
still
there.
make those?
Oh, of course. Yeah, they make them every year. New copies of. And it takes a lot of people to create those. They have to travel and then compile all that data and confer with each other and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go check out Barnes & Nobles before it closes. I don't know when it closes. Good conversation. Big Mike at Five Guys, January 5th, 2025, the new year. Happy New Year. Peace and blessings.